Good morning. It is Wednesday, April the 8th, and I have a book that I want to read to you this morning before you get started. This is about a young woman who was making planes in a time where women were not. This is around the time that we have been studying. The Wright brothers were first. We studied them yesterday and talked about how it was 1903. This woman makes her plane in 1909. And the lady in the book is a real lady. It tells you in the back of the book that it was based off of real people. But the book they've taken the real people and added a little bit, which some books and movies do that a little bit. Um, so she was known to be the first woman in the world to build and design an airplane. But I'll tell you some of the differences in the end. But this is based on real people that really lived. Okay, so it says Miss Todd and her wonderful flying machine. And I love how the book is made. They have actually cut paper and animated it first. It was an animated film. And then they took all of the pieces that they cut and did for the animation and made it into a picture book, which makes it beautiful and very interesting to see. So here's the first picture. Okay. The first time Miss Lily Todd knew she wanted to fly was when she felt the wind in her hair as Grandpa Joe tossed her high into the air. From that moment on, Lily was happiest when her feet weren't touching the ground. Lily was determined, sometimes even reckless. See her there in her wings. In her pursuit of flight, watching birds soaring in the sky, she made her own wings. She did things that made Grandpa Joe very worried indeed. "You're a smart girl, Lily," he would say, "but even baby birds have to learn how to fly." Lily trusted her grandpa and started reading as much as she could about birds, bats, bees, and anything else with wings. As Lily grew, so did her passion for flying. She discovered that wearing wings wasn't enough. If she wanted to fly, she'd have to build a flying machine. She made lots of paper planes to test her designs, but again and again they crashed to the ground. Whenever Lily was feeling discouraged, Grandpa Joe would pick up the pieces and tell her to try again. But she wanted more. She was ready to stretch her wings. "Lily," called Grandpa Joe from the top of the stairs. "Wish me luck, Grandpa," said Lily as she rushed out of the house, her arms full of designs for her flying machine. It was time for Lily to find her place in the world. And she knew exactly where to go: a university. There she could learn with others who shared her passion for flying. But everywhere she went, doors closed in her face. All she heard was no, no, no. "Why not?" questioned Lily. "No girls allowed. That's the rule," they all said. The universities wouldn't even give her a chance. But then a different voice said no, no, no. It was Mrs. Sage, one of the richest and most important women in New York. She was sick and tired of girls not being allowed to learn, and she wouldn't give another dime to any place with such silly rules. "And who are you?" she asked, pointing to Lily. "I'm Miss Lily Todd. Come now, I don't know how you can stand to be here another second." And with that, Mrs. Sage whisked her away. That afternoon, Lily shared all her hopes and dreams with Mrs. Sage. She talked through the designs of her machine, how she longed to build it and to fly in the world famous Long Island flying competition. Very soon, pilots from all over would be gathering to compete, and Lily wanted to be one of them. Mrs. Sage believed in Lily and knew just how she could help. Mrs. Sage provided Lily with everything she needed to make her flying machine, including a workshop. Lily rolled up her sleeves and got to work. Not that it was easy. Her hands became as rough as sandpaper, her back ached from carrying the wood, and some days it seemed like nothing was going according to plan. But she never gave up. And then, at last, she did it. See the plane? And just in time for the day of the competition, where pilots were getting ready to risk their necks to test their flying machines. The machines came in all shapes and sizes, and most of them didn't work at all. Lily was ready to take to the skies, but no, 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 a new voice said. Who are you? Asked Lily. I'm Didier Masson, the most famous pilot in the world, and I'll be the one flying your plane today. What? Why? Exclaimed Lily. No girls allowed in the sky. That's the rule, and there's nothing you can do about it. It just wasn't fair, Lily thought. But then Lily had an idea. Snatching Didier's scarf and helmet, she decided to take things into her own hands. Too late for anyone to stop her now. But would Lily fly? She was flying. She had done it. She'd proved them all wrong. Look at that amazing picture. I love it. Snap. But oh dear. Lily was in trouble. A snap in the wing. Would she end up like all of the other pilots whose flying machines had crashed to the ground? She couldn't give up now. Lily gripped the steering wheel and gritted her teeth. The frame shuddered and creaked, but she held on until she could feel herself gliding on the wind as gracefully as the birds she used to watch from her window. She felt freer than she had ever felt before. The ground rushed towards her as she came in for a landing. Lily braced herself. She landed. Her machine had flown, and she had felt the wind in her hair before safely returning to the ground. Lily felt invincible. A furious Didier was waiting, snatching back his scarf and cap. You, he growled. I did it, Lily exclaimed. I flew. No, you didn't. It's against the rules and doesn't count. Women don't fly, taunted Didier. The cheering crowd rushed in. But oh, no, no, no. They lifted Didier onto their shoulders, believing he had been the piloting the plane all along, in his famous red scarf. As they carried him away, chanting his name, Lily was left alone on the airfield. Her heart was broken. She felt that in all the world the only words that were left for her were no, no, no. What was she to do if her dreams were against the rules? As Lily sat amongst her beloved books, the paper worn thin from studying and model planes surrounding her, she knew she couldn't give up. After everything she had fought for, all she had achieved, and with the sky still beckoning, she had to fly again. So that's just what Lily did. She realized that it didn't matter what other people said, she would always find a way. And when she was soaring high above the clouds, flying free with the wind in her hair, she knew that nothing could hold her down, not even gravity. Now, what's interesting about this is in the part where it's talking about the real people, okay, it says that she was acknowledged by the New York Times on November 28, 1909, as the first woman in the world to build and design an airplane. She was an inventor, a studier, a student of law, and a dreamer. After the successful flight of her first plane, she never built another, and as far as we knew, never flew. So that's the part they added. As far as they know, she didn't fly. She only built the plane. And the lady in the book, Mrs. Sage, was married to a man who was very rich, and then when he died, she inherited his fortune. which was worth more than $50 million. And she invested it in endeavors that helped people. Philanthropic is what it says, like you're giving your money to a good cause. She supported education and advancement of women, such as Miss Lily Todd, founding schools and scholarships in her husband's name. And then the man, the French aviator mentioned, was a real combat pilot who was in World War One and shot down enemy aircraft after his own plane's motor quit running and glided to land in enemy territory. He found his way back onto friendly soil. He was also the first aviator to deliver newspapers by air, setting the world's longest nonstop distance record in the process. Okay, so I thought that was interesting. Had to do a lot with what we've been talking about in history and a good, encouraging, and inspiring story. Okay, I hope that gets your morning started well. You're ready to get started with your work. Have a wonderful day.